Hello everyone, my name's Michelle from Eternal Being. We've got our 21st Central Healing podcast today with Kat. So I'd like to welcome Kat. So Kat, would you introduce yourself and who you are, where you come from and what you do?
Okay, amazing. So yeah, like you know me well anyway. A little bit about me. So I'm doing a wellness competition. As you know, you've been treating me all the way up through this one. But previously, which is what I wanted to talk about a lot, is how it's helped me being treated with you and my competition.
With regards to your competition of the past, and that was the reasons why we got together and I worked with you and vice versa, is the past competition that you went through. I mean, you got all the way through to the end, you know, and you was highly successful in it. Where did you come within the, because you've done, is it 2 or 3 comps that you've done before?
Yeah, so my first one, I did place first. I did place first for that one. It was just like a little warm up, that one, so I was quite happy. The bigger competition I did after, I went all the way, I came 5th.
Wow.
And then straight away I did another comp prep, and then I didn't place on that one, but this is where the stomach issues were coming in.
Yeah.
And that's because of hard dieting.
Yeah.
Not reverse dieting as well. So like I would eat fish and rice, broccoli and all that kind of stuff for like ages, and then I'd go and eat a pizza. I'd go and get drunk and do all these things that you can imagine the gut health issues that were going to happen. And then I noticed from that competition that my bloating was getting worse.
Yeah.
I had something done up from a comp, I was bloated the next day, and things were just starting to flare up a bit. So,
and in regards to comps and so on, because some people out there won't even know what a comp is, because my previous life before Eternal Being and during the first stages of Eternal Being, you know, I was in the fitness industry for a really long time. And I adored it. I absolutely adored it. And as you know, I had some really bad accidents occur and I had to give that career up. And you've helped me through that, which will be another podcast at another time. But some people out there won't know what a comp or competition actually is. So if you just want to explain what that actually means, because the outside person won't know about gyms necessarily, or they might do. So just explain what a comp is. What do you have to do?
So basically it's like body sculpting.
Yeah,
bodybuilding, but for me, like bodybuilding can be classed as like men or women that look quite masculine. But for me personally, it's a journey from going on stage, becoming my best version of myself. That's what I see it as.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you go on stage, you know, you wear your bikini, you trim down, so you all year round you'll probably bulk up to gain muscle mass.
Yeah.
That would be the aim, and then you would trim down and do a cut phase, and then you would go on stage to show your best and what's underneath, what you've sculpted. And I've actually had 4 years off. I actually went to do it a year ago.
You had 2 children in that time as well. We need to point out, guys out there, you know, it's not just straightforward.
Well, my first competition was a year after I had my son.
Yeah.
My second child. So I was a bit crazy. But I like it. Like I do it for me. That's the main thing. I like to grow and I love like working on my physique is a passion for me. So if you've got that, then it's something that it's like a hobby as well.
Yeah, and also, you know, the confidence that it has for yourself, but it's the mental stability in that as well, which you know some people won't understand. I remember being first training in the industry, and we were classed as the rare breed, you know, the rare breed that likes that adrenaline fix, that like that buzz. You know, a lot of the population find it difficult to push through those boundaries, and that's what is amazing about training, is that when you do get to that boundary, having an amazing coach is so critical in that, to help you push through that boundary, to understand the reasons why you're feeling in that way. And that is, you know, that cliche word, the journey. But it is a journey, and you know, with failure, which there's a lot of them, is where it comes success, and that's what you've learned from those other competitions and so on.
That's what it's given me more than anything. Like I love the progression with my physique, but the mental agility, like the confidence, the self-esteem that it gives me every day. Because there's been days, and especially in lockdown when I trained all throughout, you know, kids running around and obstacles, like I still did it. And every time that I did that, it was a pat on the back for me.
Yeah.
And I've grown and grown, and that becomes self-esteem every time you show up. When you think I can't do it today, but yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You grow that little more
Smash
inside, yeah, and your self-esteem grows from that. So for me, coming from years ago when I probably was not as confident, doing this journey has made me the woman that I am, and I still have not finished. Like, I will progress, and even from after this comp, I will continue on, because it's a journey. Life is a journey. I do believe you should always be progressing, and this industry helps you do that.
Yeah.
There is negative sides to it as well, obviously. It's the way your mindset is. I treat it that way as a growth. Some people would go on stage because they want to go on stage for those reasons, but for me, it's not about that.
And also, I think, the industry as well can get a bad press.
Because of that as well. Yeah,
totally. I think it can get a really bad press. And, we're very fortunate, and you actually work at an amazing club, Premier, which is in Ellistown, Colville. And since I've been there, I've been gobsmacked, if I'm being honest, because I've worked at a lot of gyms, and very, very high successful gyms, and the positivity, the motivation, the drive, and also being able to connect with people is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't feel inferior to somebody that it does look absolutely amazing, and you can see that they've grafted really, really, really hard. And we're talking from all different types of body types as well.
Yeah.
Because we are all different, and that is really important. But when you're able to open up your views and be honest about how you feel, and it being okay, and not being knocked back because of somebody's ego, as we talked about, is really important. And I think the one thing that when we came together, Kat, was that you were honest about certain fields within that people get their diet wrong. They can get the results, but then afterwards they can be completely burnt out after they've done the comp and don't know where to go if they've not got the right type of coach behind them to look after them.
And that happens to me.
Yeah. So should we talk about that?
Yeah.
I think that's critical of why you've grown so much and to where you are now.
Yeah.
So,
I do believe failure creates where you are in the future, because if I hadn't done anything wrong, all those little things, I wouldn't be as wise as I am now.
Yeah.
But now I've got the right coach, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But running myself into the ground was something I did. Not reverse dieting properly is something I did. My gut ended up in a mess. It took years to unravel that. As now working with you and the colonics and the treatment, my mindset's better as well. My mind health, I'm focused, I'm positive. I think that's a big deal when it comes to your gut. I think the gut is linked. It's not just about less bloating, inflammation and that kind of stuff. It's your mind. I'm not having mind fog. Last time my head was all over the place, and I see it people would look at me now and think, why is she coping? She's so close to competition, but she's coping because I'm looking after my gut, my mind. I'm taking good supplements. I'm eating balanced foods. It's not just fish, rice, and broccoli, because your body gets used to that, and
you've got the fats in there, and that's
I think the important thing as well.
It's so important for females,
all that was gone. And at this time it's not.
Yeah, and it not being this, you see you do see a lot of this, and some people might disagree with me out there, but I see it a lot. The same program, the same food to every single individual. That is so wrong. Everything needs to be tailored for that individual and custom built for them, like we did regards to your treatment plan and that understanding how your gut works. And we did the blood test and we picked up that you've got candida, so we had to cut out certain foods to basically help your gut to heal. And more importantly, where the colonics come in was about us hydrating, retraining that muscle. So, Kat, as we know, mindset and also having the right team behind you, and what can horribly go wrong when you are, because when you're training and you're going through these different stages, we have this vulnerability about us, okay?
Yeah.
And that vulnerability needs to be with a team that has got your backing, and that they're going to be honest with you and they haven't got any hidden agendas. Okay, we both have the same mindset on this. This is why we work so well with each other, and that trust there, that we can be honest with each other about things, even if we agree to disagree. It's all right.
Yeah, I like that though.
Yeah,
I like it.
it gives you another point of view, but not somebody with a completely hidden agenda. So let's talk about this vulnerability, because it's critical, and I want to point this out there. Happens in every single industry. We're not just talking about comps here. We're talking in every industry. That can happen when other people have got these hidden agendas, and it's being aware of that and not running away and being scared, being open.
I think what it comes down to is when you step out of your comfort zone, you start a journey.
Yeah.
There's a few ways to look at it, but when you're starting something and you're moving, people feel stuck.
Yeah.
So that's when the agendas come in. I feel anyway, that's my thought on it. So when you're moving, that your light kind of aggravates them because they ain't moving. So what they'll do is then they would comment on your faults or anything like that. That's a negative thing that happens in any journey, not just comp prep. But then you have the good people as well when you're vulnerable that will have your back and help you, because you will fall into holes, you will stumble. It's out of your comfort zone. I do it every other day, but I have people that Kat, get up,
and be constructive.
Yeah,
be constructive with the feedback that you give somebody.
Yeah,
instead of saying, I'm near swore then, but that's rubbish. Why is it rubbish? And the one thing I've learned with my peers and people that I highly respect is what that person's saying to you, somebody that you value.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Is it,
if you value?
Yeah. Is it honest? Is it truthful? Is it factual? And I think that's critical, especially when you're a body sculptor, for somebody to give you that right direction for the right reasons, and also to understand, as you know, with your business, it's highly, highly successful. Myself and Boo come to you. It's changed our lives massively, and for me to trust somebody, that's a big, big thing. And to be able to break down those barriers, rehabilitating our body. So it's even harder when it's your field, that you might feel that somebody might be saying it in the wrong way. Do you want to explain that, techniques and all the other bits and pieces?
Yeah, that's something that I've learned from a lot of failure as well. Is when you are vulnerable, and I see it in other people, because obviously I work with clients. So when you're in a vulnerable state, people will come in with comments and they can steer you off path.
Yeah.
But being vulnerable is actually a power as well.
Yes.
But what you have to do is work out who's who.
Yeah.
And that comes with firstly experience, being let down, being burnt, but having logic.
Yeah.
So is that person's opinions, do you value them? How do they talk to other people, their behaviour, and obviously, does it work in sync? Because people will pull you left, right and centre. They will, whether it makes them feel better because they're pulling you down or stopping you, or whether it's because they generally don't mean it, but that's just their way of being. So it's understanding people. And that's something that I can do now. And I can change my behaviour to fit that, but I just get on with my lane, to stay focused in your own lane.
If you were to give anybody advice out there, Kat, that's wanting to train, get their body into shape, what would you advise somebody out there to do to start off with? I know plenty of things I would say, but coming from yourself, when they're looking for a PT, what would you be saying?
Firstly, it would be realistic.
Yeah.
I always say go long term. Do a vision board. They're great. What does the best version of you look like? How do they behave? What do they dress like? What do they do? And then you break it down. So you've got that visual's amazing. Break it down into, so if I did something daily, would that take me to where I'm going to be? And then you focus on the daily routine, because if you focus way ahead, from overwhelm sets in, and it's too much. If you focus tunnel vision on the daily things that's connected to that long-term vision, you'll suddenly look up one day and be like, I made it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
totally.
that's been my method with not just business, comp prep, with so many other things. It's the manageable things that compound.
Yeah.
That you show up to every single day, no matter what, because that's what a journey is. If you want to be successful, it takes big sacrifice.
Yeah, it does.
And that comes from the daily routine. So it's when people come in, and it keeps you in your little bubble in your lane. When people come in and go, Kat, why don't you do this? Or why don't you do that? no, I know what I'm doing. It's in my daily routine.
It's on my list.
Yeah, so you know and it's tight, it's protected. Yeah. And then you know, people will come in, but they'll bounce off because you've got your tight ship. If that ain't there, you know, people will pull you out.
To help people understand the type of training that you're having to do at the minute, you know, this is not for the light-hearted. You know, we are. That it is a rare breed, and I still think that statement doesn't change from all those many years ago. Our rare breed, and we do like that feeling of feeling strong and powered through, and go through that emotional barrier. Like I was talking to Ryan the other day about this, where we get to this, and Kat knows about this as well with me. Is I get to this emotional bit of like, oh my god, I can't do it, and that's doubt of your own ability. But it's not that it's hurting. Nothing to do with the exercise. It's this emotion that you need to rein in, control it, and then release it into the exercise. So mindset of the training that you're having to do. Just explain some of the things that you're having to do on it. Give me a leg day. You've got leg day coming up. What would you do
like the actual what's on my leg day session?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would have like leg press. I would warm up a lot because obviously I'm into mobility, activation of your glutes. That's what I do. So I'll spend 10 minutes doing that. Then I'll do it's a lot of rest pause sets. So I would go do hypertrophy, it's like 12 reps, and then I would, when I'm actually like to my point of I can't do any more, I'll stop, and then I'll go for 3 more.
Yeah.
So that method that my coach has put in is working wicked at the minute. Yeah. So I'll probably do like 8 sets.
You're walking like John Wayne then, yeah?
Yeah, and I got that today. Lunge walks, you know, all that kind of stuff, and I've got an hour cardio chucked in as well.
Yeah.
Obviously with my job it's very manual, so it's a lot of, now I'm at this point we're just trying to increase the output.
Yeah.
And then if we need to decrease the input, that will come in fast now.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I am. We've maintained a structure for so long, and then you just tweak those scales.
Yeah. And so throughout that time, you know exactly what you're eating and doing, and everything's
it's a baseline.
Out.
You've got to have a baseline. People come in and they want to do 12-week comp preps really hard when they've been off season eating McDonald's every day. That's when it becomes unhealthy.
Sorry for laughing because I totally...
That's when it's destructive.
Yeah, massively.
And that's when you gut housing and get messed up. You do it for the wrong reason. You're chasing the dragon.
Yeah, you
are. In my eyes, that's what... And I was one of them. And that's when I ended up in a mess.
Quick fixes don't last. As we discussed...
It's an addictive game.
Yeah. But also, you know, being successful and... bringing back Arnold Schwarzenegger in, you know, it always has to come back to Arnold Schwarzenegger like I did yesterday. But, you know, maintaining good fitness is critical for maintaining good health, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually in your soul. So those chasing the dragon, it doesn't sustain. No. And you burn out and it's not healthy and have massive injuries, which, you know, you see in your clinic, you know.
It's like going from gear 1 to gear 5, going down the fast lane.
Yeah,
like
in the Ferrari.
Yeah. So, and it, you know, you can get there, but the aftermath.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
mentally,
really bad.
You've got your physique. It's
and long-term health issues that turn into situations where people could, you know, get colitis. They might get celiac disease. They might. There's lots of different things that can happen with the digestion system, and they don't see it. And I've seen an influx, and I will say this, within the industry, of people with massive gut issues because of those reasons. Mm-hmm. And especially females. A lot of females are late, you know, and they don't realise, and they're living off adrenaline, that fight and flight continuously, and explosive bomb, as I call it.
I find it a lot with my clients because I do like online coaching as well.
Yeah.
You know, when I look at their diet plans, they
eat too much crap.
Yeah. And they would binge eat at the week. It's like, well, I've not eaten much all week, so I'll binge eat at the weekends and it'll, you know, balance out. But it's not that; it's your gut health as well.
Yeah, they concentrate on their weight. No.
Yeah,
it's like fitness.
On the health. Yeah,
it's like fitness. As I would say, to somebody is, if you're worried about your weight, well, let's give up now because there's no point. It's going to be small changes, consistently
compounded.
Yeah. And you need to think of it of getting fitter and stronger And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, the pounds are dropping off and your body's changing and you're getting that buzz, you're getting, you're getting a little strut on you, and you feel more comfortable. And then people start losing the weight condition, and that athletic build, I think, is the most sexiest build, I think.
100%. People are far too obsessed with the scales.
Yeah.
And that's where they're like, weight, scales. It's like, no, if you just took that negative visual away, focused on just a little daily routine that, when you have a coach, they'll help you do that thing that I said with the visuals, break it down, and then focus on smashing that on your health, feeling good, the scales will come. And also the weight drop will happen.
And not to, focus on somebody else's body. Let's talk about body image, Kat, because, with the stuff that's happened out in public eye, eating disorders and all the other bits and pieces, but people being really fixated on what somebody else looks like and how healthy you think that actually is.
Yeah, actually I'm going to go on to social media.
Yeah.
Because actually what you see, and obviously we're all a lot on social media, you would look at a picture of someone, and I do it, like if I flick someone on, so you think, bloody hell, it's lighting.
Yeah.
It's the position of the picture. I think people, when they're not in a competing or they're not doing this, that and the other, they make themselves feel horrible because they look at these pictures and actually a lot of it's to do with lighting on social media, the way that you position things, it can be hidden, but comparison as well. So everybody is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's body shape is different, and you
have to empower that.
Embrace who you are, because there's something about you as a person that nobody else will have. So it's working on your best parts. And again, people will comment, you'll always have that voice in your head. We all have it. The fear and the ego and all that will always be there. Like, oh my God, I'm not like that, or it's controlling that.
Yeah.
But social media has an impact that makes that voice go off.
Yeah.
But you've got to separate that voice in your mind to be like, that's just fear. That's just something that my mind's, you got to remember that, you've got good things too that person won't have.
And I also think the other thing is as well is that good coaches out there. I'm very, very fortunate that I have Ryan and I have Kat as my coaches, and that mindset and understanding how I work, and I can speak freely and open about, and I've made it very clear with my own mental health problems and why I train the way I do, because it helps me on so many different levels. And more importantly, my gut as well, But for people out there, that to get the right type of coach that's going to help with their needs and requirements is so a key point. And the awful thing that happened a couple of weeks ago with somebody passing away because of eating disorders and gyms not being open, that really struck a chord with me in particular, because I know what it feels like to have mental health and controlling food and not eating and not training. And when that's took away from people, I think the recognition out there to gyms needs to happen. I really, really, really do. Mental health is a massive issue out there. And for a lot of people, they go to the gym to get that mental health release, whether it's through their food, to be able to eat properly, what have you. But to get that right type of coach, I think coaches out there are going to get more training on mental health to help those people, and actually becoming therapists as well. I really do see that to what it was many years ago, and it was very much you going to your PT. Now it's opened up so many other avenues now, and I think that on a positive note, that's brought up something that's so awful, so negative, so broke my heart and made me cry a hell of a lot when I read some of the stuff that was in the news, because it brought back some memories for myself, but also highlighted that things need to change. I think
what it is as well, when someone wants to find a PT, they're desperate for help.
Yeah.
They want somebody, they're looking for someone. I was one of those people. I was looking for someone to be like, yes, Kat, you can do this. And, I needed something in my life to give me structure, to growth. And finding that right person is really important.
Yeah.
Because,
do your research, guys. Do your research.
I mean, the coach that I've got now, why I've done so well is because he's moulded it to me. I haven't fitted into someone else's system. because everyone's different. You can't just chuck loads of people in a system and expect, people have lives, they have mental health, they have different gut health issues.
You're not the same can of beans going along the
no one wants to fit in a box, especially me.
Definitely not.
Can't fit in no box.
No.
And I needed someone that's like, Kat, don't fit in no box.
Yeah.
So let's do what Kat wants to do, but with their guidance.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, and because you're a mother of 2 children, you run your business as well as training. Then you've got your other health part of your business as well. So you've got all these different.
That was it as well. Like my coach now was like, massaging, the amount that I do, the treatments. It's so much output, energy output. So that's calories.
Yeah.
And the coaches before didn't take that into consideration. So my output was going way up, but the input was not enough to fuel my muscles, to fuel my recovery, to fuel my so then the stress went up, and then I'll get more bloating. Yeah, more mind health. So all of the whole lifestyle. Yeah, and that happened very quickly.
Yeah.
Every indication of your life needs to be put in to something like this.
Yeah.
Lifestyle, whether you're a mum, gut health, mental health, like this is where that's where it changes lives. Otherwise,
yes,
you're just
it does.
running as a PT, you'll lose a few pounds here and there, and you'll probably relapse.
Yeah.
And that's
be back on the cake again.
Yeah,
which
and that's what
a lot of people do.
That's what happens. It's for me and it's for you. We want to see people change their lives.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
It used to be a laughing joke when I was in the field that January comes and it's a massive influx in new members, and they've all got the dream. They've all
a bit
got
like now after lockdown, isn't
it? Yeah. They've all got the dream. They've all got the drive. And within a matter of probably 3 to 4 weeks, you see all the normal regulars going first thing in the morning or late in the evening, and because they've given up, because they've set themselves unrealistic targets, which we've mentioned several times.
They're just panicking because, and it's taken now because it's exactly the same now.
All or
post
nothing.
Lockdown.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and burnout is inevitable.
Yeah, and the people's alcohol consumption scares the living daylights out of me, because it's classed as quite normal to have a gin when you get home, or a bottle of red, or what is that about? If I was to have a bottle of white, I'd be off my rocker. I'd have the worst ever hangover the following day. It's actually banned in my house having any white wine, because it makes me so poorly. Because what people need to be aware out there as well, your tolerance of foods that are not good for you, and alcohols that have got high sugar content like white wine, even with the good ones, can make you so poorly. So the fitter and stronger you are, the more you've got to make sure that you're hydrated and you take your time. You don't go into this berserk, person drinking, eating rubbish and overloading the system, It's crazy, and that's what you see when people come off a comp and they're like, celebration.
I think on a mindset point of view, it comes down to rewards.
Yes.
The human brain likes a reward.
Yeah.
So, if someone was like working a week and they want a cheap meal at the weekend, for example, or a glass of wine when they get home, it's a reward.
Yes.
And I find that with what I'm doing now with comp prep, like those rewards get taken away, which gives you drive, and you overcome, and self-esteem sets in because you're being disciplined. If you're disciplined, that breeds self-esteem. Like, it really does. But my rewards come differently now. If I smash a leg session and I hit some, personal best or whatever, that's my reward.
Get your perfume, like you did the other day.
I went shopping, because you can do it. It's all to do
me.
with dopamine in the brain.
Yes, totally.
It's the happy thing that we're all chasing, but you can get it from other things.
From if you your gut first, then to your brain.
Yeah. Well, I did a little trick once when I was craving like sugar, before I was seeing you actually, and I looked it up because I like to study all the science. I'm quite scientific, but I looked and I was like, you can de-trigger it by going on doing some online shopping, not paying for it. What you're doing is you boost it. Your body doesn't know. Your brain doesn't connect, so you're tricking it.
Yeah, because, and it's the same when people are on their mobile phone. That's why I go crazy about people being on their mobile phone 24/7, because you're releasing dopamine,
And it's addictive. That's why people can't
start.
Addictive. That's
There's dopamine diets out there. Tom Kerridge is amazing chef. I highly recommend, guys. I'm not getting any funding for that, for saying that either. It's just I'm a big fan. And, you know, he lost loads and loads and loads of weight. And that was because he needed to get his dopamine levels correct. And that's why he had the dopamine diet. And it is releasing of those hormones. But people get it from mobile phone. They get it from technology. And that's when the unhealthy balance starts to occurs. And that people don't know how to switch out of it because it's a drug.
Yeah, it's addictive.
You know? Yeah, so knowing when to use it and when not to use it is really, really, really critical. So coming up, okay, and where you're wanting to go. So you're going to start reducing things down a little bit, aren't you, Kat, regards to, you know, your work and all the other bits and
I was saying that to you this morning, because it's like, obviously post lockdown, work's been busy, which is great.
Yeah.
But this is where sacrifice comes in for something, because you can't be a master of all situations. Like if you're pushing for something, and especially the last stint, sacrifice needs to happen. So not obviously sacrificing my job, but management of your time is very important. Yeah. Because you know the main focus is my comp right now, the last final stint. Yeah.
And also those check-ins are really important as well with your coach. Yeah. To make sure that you are okay, and being able to get that emotion out in that session with each other is really important. So you can move on. So you can just say, I'm going to do it.
It's important. It's important to be vulnerable and talk about those feelings, to diffuse any anxiety, to diffuse any negative build up in your mind. It's all dissolving of the ego, because that at this point, ego does happen, protection happens. You know, like thinking about everything else. You know, it's a peak point. Yeah. So talking about it, dissolving it, and keeping yourself calm is really important.
So going forward for the next few weeks, then, how are you feeling in yourself regards to this comp to where you were last time? You know, the changes that you've made have been massive. You know?
Huge.
So let's talk about that. You know, do a little breakdown for me, the differences and changes that you've done from then to now.
Yeah.
You know, training, food.
With training, because my coach is quite knowledgeable on different types of training and all that. We did a lot on like eccentrics. Yeah. Focusing on time and attention, rather than, before I was training, but I was training as normal, getting my sessions in like these. It's switched to that kind of method. The rest pause. It's made a huge difference bringing my muscle out. Yeah. And everything is, you know.
Do you want to explain what that means? Because some people, I know what it means, but some people out there wouldn't know rest pause. Yeah. What does that?
So when you're at the point of like, you can't do any more and fatigue, instead of usually when you're.
So you're pushing, guys. Yeah. You're pushing and you're like.
Yeah, and then you would rest for like 3 seconds, and then you would go again for like 3 more reps. Is when you're like off season, you want to build tissue. Yeah. Then, you know, you would go probably, you know, as much as you can. But at this point, you want to reduce pressure on your central nervous system, stress, which, you know, if I was to continue doing heavy weights, you know, and 5 to 8, that would put too much pressure on my central nervous system. It's not what I need right now. So that's why it's changed. Yeah. So we push on bringing the muscle, getting the blood flow, bringing it out, and slow time and attention, eccentrics.
Yeah. So, and your tummy. So we've got a plan of action what we're working with, and it's working really, really, really nicely.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So we've got a few more sessions, and then we've got that big day. So preparation for your big day, Kat. What will happen? Are you going down the night before?
Yeah, I'll go down the night before because I've got to get my tan.
Yeah.
Get tanned up, and then depending on what we do for like refeeds.
That's never changed over the years. I will point that out. Tan has always been there. Tan always makes everything.
But yeah, it gets exciting now. Like all the hard graft, the main hard graft's been done. There's going to be some horrible sessions. Like I can't do it. But it's more the things coming in there exciting. Yeah. I can see the results coming in. Yeah. I can see it now. I'm like, wow, I can really. You can start getting excited. Yeah. Getting my hair done, you know, all the glamorous stuff's going to start coming in, so it gets exciting.
And you'll go down the night before, get ready in the morning, get some good night's sleep, get that CBD in. Yeah. Definitely with you, definitely. And then you'll be ready to go, you know. There's going to be a link at the end of this as well, of Kat's business as well, and what she does, rehabilitation. She's helped me massively with my shoulder, my back, from some awful accidents of the past, and the same with my husband Boo, who's one of my main business partner and so on. So please, you know, if you need any help with your body and alignment, I highly recommend Kat and the sessions that she does. She changes people's lives, and that's what we do it for, don't we, Kat? Change people's lives.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you for today, Kat.
My pleasure.
I look forward to bringing you back again, because there's going to be quite a few sessions that I want to do with you. Lots of things that we do, and I'd like to cover with you in further podcasts. Thanks, everybody. Bye.